All right, so this lesson is about sex-linked traits versus autosomal traits. An autosomal trait is any trait that is controlled by genes that are on the autosomes, which is all of the first 23 chromosomes that humans have. So if we're looking at traits like widow's peak, it might be located right here. The gene for that might be on chromosome number 2, or cleft chin might be on chromosome number 8. Now, any trait that is sex-linked in humans is located on either the X or the Y chromosome. So this is what the X and the Y chromosome look like, Y being much smaller and the X chromosome being much larger. It is not called the X chromosome because it's shaped like an X, even though it looks to be like an X here, but what we see here is the X chromosome right here. This is the X chromosome attached to its sister chromatid at the centromere. So it's not called X because it's shaped like an X. So any gene that is located on the X chromosome would be a sex-linked gene. Or any gene on the Y chromosome would be a sex-linked gene. So examples of sex-linked genes would be muscular dystrophy, types of melanoma. But what we're going to focus in on is the two heavy hitters, which is color blindness and hemophilia. Most sex-linked genes are on the X chromosome because it is larger than the Y chromosome. So for the most part, if we're doing a sex-linked Punnett square, it's most likely dealing with a gene that is on the X chromosome. Now, when we determine sex with using the sex chromosomes, if you have two X chromosomes, you are going to be female. In most mammals, this is how it works. If you have an X and a Y chromosome, you're going to be male. So what we notice is that males and females will inherit sex-linked traits differently because females will get 2 copies of the gene, whereas males only get 1 copy of the gene. As we see here, there are some genes that are on the Y chromosome. For instance, hypertrichosis, where you see this extremely hairy ear, is a gene that is found on the Y chromosome, so only males will get these traits. So if he ever had any sons, he would donate his Y chromosome and they would have it too. This is I think my father gave me this. So the expression is different. So what we see here is that if we have a male that is unaffected, so if we have 2 versions of a sex-linked trait, we have an affected, so let's say color blindness would be one version, and unaffected would be the normal. You're going to inherit this differently. This is a normal male right here, and this is a carrier female. This is just like my parents. So what happened is my mom, on one of her X chromosomes that she got from her father, got the affected allele for color blindness. And from her mother, she got the normal version of that. So her genotype was on one X colorblind and the other X normal. And my father was normal, so he had a normal X and then a Y. So when we donate our chromosomes to our offspring, there are 4 possible combinations of that. The father can give the Y to his son, and the female can give her normal X, and that would create a unaffected son. The father can give his Y again to the boy, and then the mother can give her colorblind X, and that would create an affected colorblind son. The other versions would be if the father donated his X chromosome, right, which is unaffected, then you would have a female, and if the mother gave the normal X, then you would have an unaffected daughter. But if the father gave his normal X and the mother gave the colorblind X, what you would have is this female who, because colorblindness is recessive, she herself has the colorblind gene, and so we call her a carrier even though she herself is not colorblind. So really quickly, I'm just going to show you very quickly what you would do between a cross of a carrier female and a normal male, which is what my parents are. The first thing that we need to do is understand you always start by writing the X and Y with the male and X and X. Every sex-linked Punnett square needs to start with XY and XX. Then we're only dealing with the X chromosome when we're putting the allele versions because these genes are not on the Y. So for colorblindness, let's just say that big B is normal since colorblindness is a recessive trait, and little b would be colorblind. I can use other letters, but I don't like using C because capital C looks like lowercase c. So you can either have a normal X or you can have a colorblind X. Okay, so a carrier female is one that has a normal and a colorblind. Okay, so my father was a normal male, so we have this. So what are the possible offspring that they can have? We can have a female who is completely normal. We can have a male that is normal. So this is the genotype. So this is a normal female. We'll do like this. And this is a normal male. This is going to be a female, but she is going to be considered what we call a carrier. And so this is a female as well. Oops, thank you. That is a male symbol. And then this is going to be a male who is colorblind. So I'm going to put colorblind male. This is me and my family. This is my brother Paul. Also, I have a colorblind brother Mark. And then my sister is one of these two. We don't know yet because she hasn't had any children. So the chances of my parents having a colorblind male is 50-50. Because of the males, 50% will be colorblind. So these are all the colorblind males right here. So that is how you do a sex-linked Punnett square.